Chapter 5. Jun Sheng turned a deaf ear towards Orlando's loud boasting. He saw a strong, fragrant mist floating in the air and reached out to it. Then he brought in his palm, looked down, and sniffed. He seemed to enjoy the smell, giving another lazy smile. Then he grabbed a handful of petals and squeezed. Opening his mouth, he stuck out the tip of his tongue to lick and suck at the bright red flower juice on his fingers. Whenever he was drunk, he always felt thirsty. The gorgeous elfin teenager was intoxicated in the fragrant mist, lying on the ground. His body was covered in bright red flower juice and scattered petals. This scene was gorgeous, yet revealing a sweetly decadent scent, captivatingly addicting, captivatingly enchanting, captivatingly corrupt. The cameraman was sweating profusely. His face blushed, barely able to withstand the young boy's visual impact. But he had to brace himself and continue to film. The director had forgotten to yell cut, and the staff had forgotten their destinations. All of them were staring, stupefied at the young man. Only Orlando was still muttering to himself. This shot can't be cut. This one too. That shot of him licking the flower juice will have to be reshot later with a close-up. We still need to shoot a close-up of his face and a close-up of his eyes. His feet must also have a close-up. His round pink toes are too cute. Orlando, shut up. Kawamukun snuffed out his cigar and shouted. At the end of his patience, his voice sounded very uneven and hoarse. Orlando immediately mimed the zipper pulling action against his lip. Jun Sheng rolled back and forth on the petals for several laps. His head was almost spinning when he heard the director yell cut. Take a break. We'll shoot a few close-ups later. He sighed in relief, brushing his hair away as he walked towards the red-eyed Yu Mei Lian. Lin Shengzi, a deep, hoarse voice came from behind. Uncle Kao. Jun Sheng respectfully nodded towards the man approaching him. Kawamukun obviously didn't expect him to suddenly address him like this. His smile froze for a moment, but he didn't say anything about it, just using his fingertips to rub away the flower juice staining the young man's lips. Then, strolling away, his assistant looked at Yu Mei Lian and urged, After the filming, there is a dinner party. Please make sure to attend. We're leaving first. See you later. Yu Mei Lian nodded, her face pale. They were now standing in the other's domain and also working for him. Even if they didn't want to go to this dinner party, they still had to. Little Ze, be careful later. Don't drink too much. I know, Sister Yu. I have some common sense. Jun Sheng didn't mind. He had long known that he would encounter such a thing if he involved himself in the entertainment industry. But he had enough self-defense ability, so he wasn't worried at all. If you really can't resist, you can also try to get some benefits out of it. You've heard of Kawamukun, right? The ruthless great white shark. But if you follow him, the benefits are obvious. He can guarantee you fame in the shortest time. Zhang Yi was only with him for less than a month, and now he's super influential. Sister Yu's not inciting you to jump into the fire pit, but the situation is beyond our control. Follow him, and you'll only have to suffer for a few months. Don't, and you'll have to suffer for a lifetime. Yu Mei Lian's expression was tangled. Jun Sheng nodded repeatedly. He heard her concerns, but they didn't enter his heart. After a few close-up shots, the passionate filming finally ended. The cameraman quickly took a napkin to wipe his sweat, his eyes dodging the young man's body. He dared to guarantee that as long as the commercial was allowed to broadcast, everyone would become intoxicated in this charming feast. None of the shots were focused on the perfume, but you could still smell an irresistible fragrance. He had to admit that Orlando's taste really transcended human limits. Jun Cheng took a shower, put on his original white shirt and down jacket, then walked with Yume Lian to the elevator. When they barely walked up the doorway, they saw Kao Mukun's expressionless assistant already waiting there. The assistant led the two to the top level club. Kao Mukun and several exuberant-mannered men were sitting around a table, accompanied by several currently popular stars. "Baby, you're here." Kao Mukun stretched out his arm to pull the young man to the seat at his side. Yun Sheng instantly glared at him with his peach blossom eyes as if to ask, "When did I become your baby?" Kao Mukun really loved the feeling of talking with their eyes. Using his fingertip to flick his curled eyelashes, he pointed to the men and introduced one by one. Some of these people were high-level Aya directors, some were Kao Group's partners, and there were a few of the top domestic movie production companies' CEOs. Yu Mei Lian was in reverence as she pulled Zhou Yunsheng to greet the crowd. She'd gotten over her previous tangled feelings. Holy shit, no wonder Zhang Yijia shot through stardom like a rocket. He was under the care of these extremely wealthy businessmen. The people here were all business giants, the kind that you ordinarily had no way to climb a relationship with. Zhu Yuncheng knew that his life was not yet on the right track. He couldn't make Kao Mukun an enemy, so he had no choice but to silently endure, greeting the crowd, then drinking a cup to show respect. Kao Mukun was very satisfied with his obedience, pulling him into his arms and kissing his forehead. Then he ladled a bowl of health maintenance soup and put it in front of him, gently saying, "You're too thin. You need to properly make up for it. Eat first. Just take whatever you like. Don't be reserved. I have some business to talk about. Don't worry about me." The past Ling Shengze, naturally very attentive at the dining table, with only one glance he would helpfully drop Kao Mukun's favorite dishes into his bowl, so Kao Mukun deliberately added the last sentence. But the current Zhu Yuncheng didn't care if he starved to death in front of him. He quietly and earnestly ate, thinking to himself, "Eat until satisfied, then think of ways to deal with the self-important great white shark." Although it was called a dinner party, during it, Kao Mukun didn't even touch a grain of rice. He just talked about business, then directly asked the men to leave, even making them hand over their business card to set aside for Yu Mei Lian. His intentions to nurture Lin Shengze to popularity was abundantly clear. Contacts were a broker's largest capital. With these contacts, Wu Tao was outclassed. He wouldn't even be worthy to carry her shoes. Yu Mei Lian's face reddened in excitement. She carefully collected the business cards, saw the big boss impatiently wave her away, and quickly and tactfully left, very impressively selling her teammate. "Is the food good? I can have them prepare some more." Kao Mukun had his arms around the boy's shoulder, his tone intimate. "No, I'm full." Zhu Yuncheng put down his chopsticks and was preparing to wipe his mouth when Kao Mukun stretched out a napkin to carefully wipe it for him. "Okay, if you're done, we can go." Kao Mukun matter-of-courtly pulled the youth's hand to leave. "Uncle Kao, what are your intentions?" Zhou Yuncheng sat still, refusing to get up. He tried to break the other's clamp, but actually found himself helpless. That's impossible. After he transformed his body, whether it was strength or speed, he was far beyond a regular person. He should be one of the strongest people in the world. How could this happen? Because of this unexpected discovery, Zhou Yunsheng finally felt some rising panic. Kao Mukun hooked his lips, laughing. "I didn't think you'd have such strength in that little body." He wanted to embrace the young man more and more. He sat back down and smiled. Aren't I following your intentions? You wanted to seduce me, so I'm letting you seduce me. You want to be rich and famous, so I'll make you rich and famous. What are you dissatisfied with? I tried to seduce you because I needed money, but now I have the ad. I'm already well off. Since he couldn't resist with force, Sheng had no choice but to show some weakness. He blinked his pair of watery peach blossom eyes, looking over pitiable. Kaomo-kun's eyes darkened. He bluntly hugged him onto his lap, biting his ear as he muttered, I know you got close to me for money. It was obviously not because you loved me, but you have to think clearly. 500,000 could buy you a few sets of clothes and bags at the most. Then where do you get more money? Might as well be with me. I'll get you whatever you want. After speaking, he bit down on the young man's earlobe, no longer able to resist, nibbling with his teeth. Then he inched the tip of his tongue out to explore inside his ear. Sheng's body went soft from the tease. He gulped down big breaths of fresh air, trying to restore his sanity, but the strong masculine atmosphere was making him more and more addicted. These arms were too familiar. Even if his soul couldn't tell, his body was instantly welcoming him. However, under his panic, Sheng unexpectedly overlooked the familiarity. Kaomo-kun originally wanted to just tease him a bit, but when he started, he unexpectedly couldn't stop. The young man's skin was too white, too smooth, too soft, the texture like congealed milk. I really wanted to suck on his whole body to see if sweet milk would come out. Baby, look at yourself, you're all red. He unzipped the young man's jacket, then slipped his big palm in to explore, laughing lightly. Okay, no more playing cat and mouse. Just frankly tell me how much you want. I don't want money. I won't be with you. I have a boyfriend. Sheng refused, panting. Boyfriend? Jihan Yu? Don't joke around, baby. Aren't you also with him for his money? Now that his family is bankrupt, he can't give you anything. Don't tell me that you love him more than money. Kaomo-kun chuckled to him, believing that love was the world's most ridiculous act. I love money. In this world, who can honestly say they don't love money? I approached you at the beginning because I desperately needed money. If I could, I would never betray Han Yu. You're right. My love for him really does exceed my love for money. Sheng was gripped underneath, almost crying, teardrops hanging on his eyelashes. Refusing to fall, he looked extremely lovely. Kaomo-kun kissed away his crystal tears, pressing his buttocks down against his giant, panting out. Right, you love him. I also don't want you to leave him. Stay with me for 3 months. Then I'll set you free and give you lots of money. I promise not to let Jihan Yu find out. Are you satisfied? No, the problem is that I don't want your money anymore. Uncle Kao, please let me go. Molesting minors is a felony. I'll report you. Sheng struggled fiercely. Kaomo-kun was almost unable to hold on to him and had no choice but to let go. Although he had plenty of methods to evade punishment from the law, forcing others to bed was really boring. He found it very disdainful. Leave. I'll give you a few days to consider. He combed his messy hair with his fingers, then finally fished out a cigar, cut and lit it. His deep eyes were full of mockery. When you hang someone's appetite, you also have to know the limit. When you come to me again, I'll certainly cost you more than today. It'll certainly cost you more than today. In the end, he still wasn't convinced of the boy's so-called true love speech. Hang your sister's appetite. Sheng fiercely glared at him, then picked up his down jacket and quickly left. You look even more beautiful when you're angry. Kaomo-kun spit out a mouthful of smoke. The stiffness between his legs violently twitched a bit, stimulated by the young man's gorgeous, angry eyes.